And that jet stream is moving across the northern Pacific, and it swoops down past Seattle, down the west coast of the USA. It's already in California, by the way. And this jet stream will carry some of the particles, the radiation, across America. So the first precaution is, for the next few days, stay indoors. And that means you keep your pets and your children indoors. This is a very, very important thing. There are people in France, Italy, and Greece, which is, 1,000 kilometers away from Chernobyl, who have thyroid cancer. The thyroid gland is in the throat, and it's the first gland which gets affected by radiation. So if you stay indoors and you keep your windows and doors closed, you will be able to avoid this fallout. And it will pass. It will pass. Now, what I recommend is that everybody stays indoors this weekend. If you do go out, you should wear a hooded jacket. You should keep your outdoor clothes as your outdoor clothes and your indoor clothes as indoor clothes. If you go out, you wear a hood. When you come in, you take off your outdoor clothes, you leave them out near the door, and you shower. And then you put on clothes which you're just going to wear indoors. This is very, very simple. It's something that everybody can do. And I don't know whether you can hear my cat purring, but you must keep your pets indoors as well. This is very, very important, because the fallout will naturally get washed out of the atmosphere by rain. And it will pass. It will pass, okay? Now, after this weekend, after staying indoors and allowing this radioactive air to pass over, what you then should do is get a garden hose, and you should wash down all of your vehicles, and you should wash down the roofs of your buildings. And you should also wash all of the plants in your garden. And you should wash down your vehicles once a day for the next couple of weeks. And as long as you take these very, very simple precautions, you are very unlikely to have any side effects of this Japanese fallout. That's basically what I came on this broadcast to say, is because those precautions cost people nothing. They're simple precautions, and I was very, very disturbed this morning because I got on the VideoSat feed pictures of Tokyo from last night. And Tokyo, amazingly, the radiation levels are rising in Tokyo, and people are walking the streets. The governments have not told people to stay indoors. So stay indoors for at least Monday or Tuesday. And that means you keep your pets indoors, you keep your children indoors, and after the radiation has passed over in the jet stream, wash everything down, including your vehicles, and especially the handles on the doors of your vehicles, so that if there are particles that have settled, you're washing them away.
Max, do you want to elaborate on that?
No, he pretty well covered it all in that. I mean, you can use things as well, like if you can afford to get some iodine, you can put a bit of iodine in your drinking water and stuff like this. But everything Chris just said then about washing things and staying indoors is essential, absolutely essential. Yes. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of fallout in America. You're a fair way away. A lot of it's going to go into the ocean between you and Japan, but you still need to take these basic precautions. Realize that you are literally the first landfall west of Japan or east of Japan, and that's the way the jet stream flows. So you are going to get more than say you would in Europe, you know.
Well, and
yes,
you're getting a lot more than you would in any X-ray machine.
Well,
right?
yeah, of course. I mean, you are going to be getting a reasonable amount of radiation come over there, but it's not like instant death or anything. It's not like you're in the immediate fallout zone. I mean, obviously the worst hit is going to be Japan, simply because of the local prevailing winds. In fact, I find it very doubtful to see that Japan will recover from this. If all 6 reactors melt down, I don't think we'll be seeing too many more Japanese exports, Japanese cars, and so many of the things that we get from Japan. I think this has the potential to turn Japan into a third world country or worse. But having said that, yeah, the fallout in America will be substantial, but there are simple precautions you can take, such as Chris has just gone through.
Well, Max, what do you think is the effect on the economy from all of this?
Oh, horrendous.
Horrendous, absolutely. This is going to devastate. I mean, Japan is, I believe, the second largest economy on Earth, I think. And we all depend on Japan. I mean, all of our electrical goods. I mean, Japan is a huge exporter of cars and everything that we use in our modern society. So it's going to be huge. It's going to have an enormous impact on global economy.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment that in Europe, when you go into a European supermarket or a European hi-fi store, only 1 in every 7 televisions sold is manufactured outside of Japan. Only 1 in every 7.
So that gives an idea of how much stuff they actually make.
Well, that's not a bad thing, though, to get rid of the TVs.
Well, Toyotas, though, do run really well. And they run for a long time.
Well, Japanese people are brilliant. They're very, very intelligent, and they have a great knack. Once you've shown a Japanese person how to do something, like, for example, make a high-tech device like a mobile phone, they have it. Poof, just like that. Just immediately. They're very, very intelligent, very clever people. And Max is absolutely right. If you have ordered something from Japan right now, be very careful. It could have been sitting on a dockside. It might be covered in contaminated dust, which you cannot see. And I know that saying these things may damage, I know it will reduce confidence in Japanese products and damage the economy. But quite frankly, the Japanese elite have wasted hundreds of billions of yen propping up the currency. They should have saved that money, and they should have spent that money on providing food and basically buying cargo planes and shipping vast amounts of materials and emergency supplies from all over the world, which could have already arrived in Japan by now if that money had been spent with neighboring countries. And Max is right. It's the second largest, it's the second most active, profitable economy on the planet. In many sectors, such as high-tech goods, it's the number 1 economy. And this is very, very important. For example, all of your TV pictures from all of the television broadcasters right around the world, Japan has the world's monopoly on professional broadcast equipment. There's virtually not a TV channel that exists in the entire world that doesn't invest millions and millions and millions of pounds into Japanese broadcast video and audio technology. And I say to people, I fully understand this is going to damage the Japanese economy in the long term, what I'm saying now, but I'm saying it for people's safety. Do not import any Japanese goods that were sitting on docksides during this radiological disaster. Be very careful, especially things like mobile phones that you hold to your ear. I know that sounds bad.
Oh my God.
What has happened right now? What has happened right now is that the elite have evacuated Japan, and Max is absolutely right. I doubt whether the north of Japan will ever survive.
No, well, I don't believe it will. I mean, you've got an area, if they have 6 meltdowns, if they do get 6 meltdowns, the amount of contamination that's going to occur there is going to be phenomenal. And there's very little that anybody can do about that. And I don't like to say anything bad about Japan either. I love the Japanese people, but this is simply a reality. I mean, how much stuff do we now import from Ukraine, for example? And
nothing.
that's just with Chernobyl. And we've got up to 6 reactors in trouble. Some of them are running MOX instead of uranium. So these are very, very pollutive situations. So this is a very, very real problem that we're going to see.
Yes, absolutely. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see the south part of Japan, the very rich Japanese corporations will relocate, and we'll see the entire Japanese population from the north, the ones that can afford it, they will relocate to southern Japan. And the Japanese ministry today admitted that the area that is now a dead zone is a 40-kilometer radius from Fukushima.
Yeah, this may even get a lot bigger yet, though, depending on the prevailing winds. And another thing they should have spent all of those billions and billions of yen on is actually improving the situation at the power plants, because, as I mentioned earlier, there's an article that I've got posted on the Crow House by Lorraine Murray that she wrote in 2004, and she virtually outlined this entire situation. She investigated what Japan would do if there was an earthquake or tsunami on any of these nuclear power plants, and she determined that they had no contingency plan, and that everything that they had in place now, when asked, they simply said, look, we don't know what we'd do. And they were quite shocked at the findings. She looked at the geological samples under some of the plants, and she found that all the geology was unsound. Some of these rocks had fractures and stress marks every 10 centimetres in the rocks. So very, very unsafe place to build reactors. And she posted this in 2004 and virtually said that this was exactly what we were going to see eventually, and that it wasn't a matter of if but of when. And I think it's very important to look at how these reactors have just been kind of plonked there and hushed up and waved under the carpet and, oh, everything's going to be okay type of attitude. But every single safety precaution that they had in place for these reactors was completely useless. One tsunami wiped out every single level of safety procedures that they had in place and emergency procedures that they had in place. And again, this is simply because of the value people put on money. Money is this all-important thing when it isn't. It's just paper, and it's never spent on the right things. You know, if we're going to use money, at least spend it on the right things, you know.
Yeah, I think the politicians will now start arguing that nuclear installations in the USA and Europe and elsewhere, they're all safe. You know, you've got to understand that, you know, nuclear power is really, really safe. And what happened in Japan is because there was an earthquake that ruptured pipes carrying coolant fluid, and then a tsunami hit Fukushima. That's going to be their argument, and the argument is already starting in the pseudo-fake debates on the British Broadcasting Corporation news feeds.
Oh, absolutely.
What I would say is this, is that we have had Chernobyl, which is a disaster which has created an enormous dead zone. That's 1,150 square miles of forest and cities and villages that is now a dead zone. We've had 3 Mile Island in the late 1970s. Again, that was a core meltdown. We've got Sellafield, which is near Liverpool in the United Kingdom, with clusters of children dying from leukemia. It's been going on for more than 25, 30 years. We have Dounreay in Scotland. There are now signs on Dounreay Beach saying, warning, radioactive particles have been discovered on Dounreay Beach. And every country which has got nuclear reactors has leaks and problems which are hushed up.